welcome back to my channel. Today I wanted to do a video regarding the My Disney Experience app, as well as changes that we are going to make to our trip or trips in the future. And I touched on that second part a little bit in my last video. But yeah, I also have my husband here because he was the one who primarily used the My Disney Experience app when we did use it in the parks. I look like I have a plant coming out of the side of my head. Okay, so I had mentioned several times before that the My Disney Experience app, it does have some good qualities to it, but we prefer to not bring our phones to the parks. Now, we did use it a bit this trip. Do you, yes. Do you want to give like synopsis of your, like a review of the My Disney Experience app?
Sure. So we ended up taking our phone to the park.
One phone.
One phone to the park. The reason that we took the phone really was because in Disney World this time we rented a car, and when we were in the car we wanted to play Disney music to enhance our experience, right? So I had loaded up a playlist full of Disney music onto my iPhone.
Which I completely recommend, by the way.
Yes, if you're not riding the buses and things like that, and you miss the background music that they have. But anyway, so we would plug the phone into the car, drive to the park, and then when we were at the park, I didn't really want to leave the phone in the car. It gets to be like a bazillion degrees inside the car.
Right, we were just there, I mean, depending on when somebody's watching this video, we were there middle to end of August. So this is 2017. Right.
Possible time of the year. And so I took the phone with me into the park, but not with the intention of really using it, other than maybe as a camera every once in a while. But yeah, we've done, or you did, or we did a video together at one point talking about our philosophy on that and how we like to disconnect. So anyway, but we took the phone. And since I had the phone, we occasionally use the My Disney Experience app, because this is why we like try to avoid the phone, right? Well, because this is what happens.
We tried to use the My Disney Experience app.
Correct. So the My Disney Experience app was interesting.
The word disaster comes to mind.
Yeah. Basically, I was logged in on my account, and when I would use the app to check things like wait times or upcoming fast passes, dining reservations, look at our photos, ride photos that have been taken, the things that you use it for, it was the strangest thing. It would work like 5 times. Literally, like it would work like 5 times. I could check it 5 times. After that, it would freeze on the splash screen, the screen that comes up when it loads and it says My Disney Experience, and it would freeze on that. And the only way that I could get back into the app is if I deleted it and reinstalled it. After a while, I decided to see what would happen if I logged in on Brittany's account, and it turned out that one worked a little bit better, but had I been relying on the My Disney Experience app, it would have been extremely frustrating.
Right.
It was extremely frustrating.
We had talked about, or I had talked about bringing my little book and tearing out the pages that had all of our plans on that, and we relied on that exclusively. We used that. I have every intention of doing that in the future. On the back side of every page, so on the front side of the pages, I had the AM park we were visiting, and if it had morning extra magic hours. If we had a lunch reservation, I had the time, the restaurant, and the confirmation number. I had the PM park we were visiting, and if we had a dinner reservation, the time, the restaurant, and the confirmation number. I also had our fast passes listed, and I had this listed in chronological order. So, for example, like one night, we had our fast passes in the evening. So I had the PM park listed, then I had 2 fast passes, dinner reservation, and then our 3rd fast pass. So I had them all in order. So I didn't have to worry about skipping around. Now on the back side of that, if we didn't have a reservation for lunch or dinner, and I knew that we would be doing a quick service meal, I listed the quick service restaurants that I knew I would be interested in eating at, and I put
That was an awesome idea, by the way.
I put a really,
That was really nice.
brief description of the kind of things they have there.
Mm-hmm.
What was that?
My feet squeaking against the floor. I
Oh.
think.
So I would have, for example, like Casey's Corner, hot dogs, Columbia Harbor House, seafood and clam chowder,
Yeah.
etc. Pinocchio Village House had, I think that one had like flatbreads or something like that. So I had the list, so we could see what we were interested in at that time. Now I have some like dietary issues, so I wanted to come up with those ahead of time. And when we're doing quick service, we don't really plan out where we're going to eat in advance, or we haven't. And I guess we didn't really plan it out in advance either this time, but by the time we think of it, we are very hangry. Low blood sugar, I at least am very, very low blood sugar, and then you're hot and you're like, oh my gosh, like everything is collapsing around you. It's horrible.
Right.
So this was really nice to like look at this, and I have a list of, like 5 restaurants and the things, okay, which of these look the best? Let's go there. And I used the menus from allears.net, but you can do that from Disney as well.
You can do that on the app when it works.
Right. But anyway, that was the book that I had, and I had it all written in there, and we tore out a page every day for the applicable day. So we relied on that, and we'll definitely be doing that in the future as well, rather than relying on the My Disney Experience app.
For sure. It's really nice to know that you'll have something that works. Now, don't get me wrong. In my day-to-day life, I am a person who really likes to use technology. I am like as paperless as possible as I can be in like my personal life and my job. I love having everything on my phone, but oh man, it was so frustrating. And usually these things don't like bug me so much because, I'm willing to work with technology and I feel like I'm pretty good with it. And there are probably things I could have done on the trip. Like I probably could have called like a support number, or I probably could have like Googled like, oh, I'm having this issue and here's how to fix it. I don't want to mess with that stuff when I'm on vacation. I just don't.
We also tried to use the FastPass kiosk, and then that was at Hollywood Studios, and there was only 2 where we were using them right by Tower of Terror. Mm-hmm. And one froze, and there was a long line, so that was kind of frustrating too, because the app wasn't working, and then the kiosk wasn't working.
Yeah, it was nuts.
But in regard to fast passes, okay, so like let's get into what we're going to do differently in the future. So I would say if we are not, back to the app though. I thought it is nice for checking wait times, but
when you can get in.
Right. But in terms of like accuracy, I don't know how necessary that was for us, since we kind of know there was only like 1 or 2 times where a wait time was like way longer than I expected. And I'm like, well, I'm glad I didn't walk over there. But for the most part, it's not hard to know like what the most popular rides are. Right. At least for us. And we're like, okay, it's the most popular time of day. That one's going to be the busiest.
We're pretty good at guessing what the wait time is going to be just based on our experience.
Right. But now in terms of what we're going to do differently.
Hey, I just want to say about the app. In theory, the app is awesome, right? It has everything you need. It has the wait times, your reservations, your plans. It's really cool how your photos get loaded into it as you take them and go on rides and things like that. But if it's not reliable, it's even more frustrating, I think, to have something that you should have that doesn't work than just to not have it at all. Right.
Right. So now what we're going to do differently for trips in the future. I have mentioned several times that we're going in February for the Disney Princess Half Marathon. I think because it will be cooler, probably not going to bring our phone with us into the parks. I think we could leave it in the car.
True. Yes. That was really the only reason we brought it.
Yeah, so it didn't melt. Well, I mean,
for real.
Literally, it would have melted. It really would have melted. The car is like 150 degrees. And okay, so leave the phone in the car. Booking fast passes later in the day. Now, I don't know if we got really lucky, but we did after we used our 3 fast passes in the morning at, I don't remember what park. We used their 3 fast passes in the morning, and then we were going to Hollywood Studios in the evening. And I asked Aaron to look on the My Disney Experience app to see what fast passes were available for the evening. And Toy Story Mania was available. Now that is, I don't know if we got lucky or if the park attendance numbers are just down so much, or maybe a combination of both, because of so much construction going on there and so many things closed that maybe there's just fewer people there. But I think I'm going to be more willing to look into that. I would use the FastPass kiosk, but I would be more willing to look in that before and not just write it off like, oh, don't bother. We did have better luck with that this time. Oh, yes. So speaking of Hollywood Studios, we went there maybe twice. I think one morning and one evening.
Yep.
There is so much closed right now, you guys. There is, granted, we could have done a lot more, but because some of those things are not must-dos for us every trip, like we don't feel the need to do Voyage of the Little Mermaid or Muppet Vision 3D every single trip. They're good. They're very good. We don't feel the need to do it every single trip. So we were left with Rock and Roller Coaster, Tower of Terror, which are like our favorite rides, and Toy Story. And then I think that's all we did there, other than we caught the last half of the Beauty and the Beast stage show. Beauty and the Beast live on stage.
You know what we missed that I would have liked to do, and I don't know how relevant this is because I think it's a temporary thing, was that Pixar
Yeah, that looked cool.
music thing where they
With
had
the
a live
orchestra.
orchestra playing Pixar music, and then they had like this big like LED board playing scenes from the different music or
Movies.
behind the orchestra. We sort of heard it and kind of saw it because you can kind of see like a little
Right.
bit of the theater through the trees. Yeah, that would have been cool, but we didn't make it.
No, because we only saw that when we were there at night, I think, and it was...
And it was the last performance, and it had already
Right.
started by the time we got there. But
I
that's
totally
something
do that.
that's something they added, I think, because there's so little to do.
Right, I mean, there is that too. We walked through One Man's Dream, which is like half... Starting September 8th, they're opening the rest of Walt Disney One Man's Dream to show things that are, like, they're doing a past, present, and future section, showing, like, upcoming changes and, like, models and of the parks, and they're going to have a model of Toy Story Land and etc.
They're changing the name of it, too. It's going to be called Walt Disney Presents.
Yes. So, all of that to sum up, I think when we go in February, we really only need to go to Hollywood Studios once. And then if and when we go next summer, next summer, Toy Story Land is scheduled to open. So if the next time we go when Toy Story Land is open, then I would say we'll go twice. Because
For sure.
we always get park hoppers, so we still only do at most a half day at a time. So 1 half-day trip for us right now to do our favorite rides there, I think is plenty with everything that's closed.
Right. Yeah, the park is basically a construction zone right now. Not to say that when you go there, it looks like a construction zone. They always do a very good job of hiding all of that. But it's like a fraction of the size that it used to be.
Right. It's
with a fraction of the things to do.
Yeah, that was kind of disappointing. But I mean, they're doing what they can and what they have to improve the space and
it needs it.
Right, and to bring all
it'll be better and it'll be
for sure.
I can see. Yeah, I mean, we're gonna want to spend lots of time there probably once everything's open.
I don't know about lots. I'm not into Star Wars.
I know.
Okay.
More.
Right.
Maybe more, possibly more than before, because it's always been kind of our park that we've spent the least amount of time at.
Yeah. Okay, Epcot. I don't know what to tell you.
I'm not cutting that out. The last video, I had to edit out
It
like
was horrible.
7 yawns.
I was so tired. Okay, so Epcot. I told them in the last video of
Told who, them?
Yes, them. In the last video, which actually isn't even up yet. I believe you still have to edit that one, the trip recap video.
Yeah, I'll just have to make sure I get that one up first now.
Yes. I talked about the disaster that was Epcot Morning Extra Magic Hours. That being
That didn't
said,
go well.
No. I think we handled it very well because it was like, I mean, I was like dripping wet because I've talked about this before, like, can't handle the heat, right? That's horrible. I'm on a medication that makes me like all sweaty. So I am like literally dripping. We're like running from one end of the park to the other. It was awful. I'm like, okay, we're gonna ride Soarin'. We're going to regroup. You know, we're gonna go to Starbucks and regroup, and I'm gonna sit in the air conditioning and have my Starbucks and go.
That was a good reset for you.
And go
yeah.
to Club Cool. It was like putting myself in timeout, and him too. I mean, we both needed timeout. So we had a Starbucks timeout, and we were better after that. It was kind of ugly, but
It was annoying because we do so much, well, you especially do so much careful planning that when it doesn't work out, because usually we can go on a whole trip and like never wait in a line for more than
25 minutes,
right.
30 at the most.
And this
But
was
okay,
not good.
To be fair, this is the only time this has ever happened at Epcot. However, my complaint was they can communicate with each other. When you only have a handful, not even less than a handful of rides, they have like 3 major rides that are open for Morning Extra Magic Hours. Mission Space, which I can't do,
Right.
Soarin', and Test Track. The fact that 2 of those were down, which I totally get can't be helped, I feel as though they should communicate with each other though, so that people aren't leaving, because we were not the only ones who left the line, presumably to go to one of the other 2 rides that are open, and say, just so you know, this one is closed too. You know, so that people aren't running around and we just keep our place in line and stand there. So, that being said, what we're going to do differently for future trips, I think, is stay away from Epcot Morning Extra Magic Hours. And I say this because Frozen Ever After in Norway opens early. Has been opening early. I don't know how long that'll last, but given
But not during extra magic hours.
No. World Showcase opens at 11 a.m. So, given the popularity of Frozen Ever After, they have been opening that ride sooner. However, the rest of World Showcase is not open until 11 a.m. So when you're there at 8, so that's 3 hours. So 3 hours to do, you have Test Track and Soarin' for us, the Seas with Nemo and Friends, which we tend to do every trip. I don't feel like I have to, but we have the time.
I think we just do it because it's so quick.
Right.
You can walk right on and it's a very
and then I like,
short ride.
If we're being honest, I really just like to go see the manatees.
They're at the end of the...
They're so wonderful. Go see them. They were fed, you can see them in their fed lettuce, like romaine lettuce, and they even get other fun things, but they prefer the lettuce. It just blows my mind. Okay, in Spaceship Earth, and what else? The Seas, Spaceship Earth.
Living with the land.
Living with, well, okay, that was like a given. Living with the land. Those things, Figment, that's not a must-do for us every trip either.
The Disney Pixar Film Festival?
Never have done it. Don't really have intentions of either. Point being, all of those things together, if you plan your time well, which we do, and you know, we plan it so that we're not waiting in line, because I don't want to stand out in a hot line, or even in an air-conditioned line, that those things don't take from 8 in the morning until 11 when World Showcase opens.
No.
And like I said, especially...
Not even close.
No, because we go to Epcot, because overall that is one of our favorite parks, if not our favorite park. So we go there multiple times. So one time we might do, oh, let's do the Seas with Nemo and Friends. Well, I'm not gonna do that every time. If it's not even a must-do, I'm certainly not gonna do it every time we go there on a trip. So there's just not enough for us to do with World Showcase not being open. My favorite part about Epcot is World Showcase and walking around. Every time we leave, every time do I not say, I feel like we didn't walk around these countries, we didn't spend enough time there. I mean, really, I could walk around those countries for probably 2 full days. I like to look in every single shop at every single thing. I do, and I touch all of the little things, and that's just, I really like little things. It's just, I really love it. So.
And you have conversations with some of the cast members sometimes from other countries.
I'm extremely like introverted in all other walks of life, but when I get to Disney, I'm like, everybody come talk to me. I don't know what it is.
And eat.
And we eat, yes. So
in every country.
So this is a very long long-winded way of saying, I don't think we're gonna do morning extra magic hours at Epcot, and instead I'm just gonna carefully plan our fast passes and do those, maybe still do a morning park, but not morning extra magic hours, because then you only have from 9 until 11 to do those things before World Showcase opens.
The fact that World Showcase opens at 11 goofs things up, I feel like.
Agreed.
It's strange to me that it doesn't open till 11. I don't know.
Yeah. Okay, so let's see. What are our changes? We're doing reducing the number of times we go to Hollywood Studios at least until more things open. Cutting out morning extra magic hours at Epcot.
No app.
I mean, not that we really used it a lot before, but for sure no app. There was something else I said too. How about not getting pizza at Via Napoli? That needs to we won't not get pizza at Via Napoli.
Oh, a double negative. I was gonna say that pizza was
That
fantastic.
pizza was fantastic. Fantastic. Was it a margarita pizza? Or was it just cheese?
I don't think it was officially a margarita pizza.
It was amazing is what it was.
Yeah. I don't know. They just watched it. Everybody who's watching it is like knows what the other thing is, and we don't. That we mentioned.
No, we didn't mention it is my point. There's something else I wanted to mention.
I thought you were just recapping.
No, like changes. What else are we going to? What changes are we going to make to our trip plans for our next trip? We're sticking with the rental car. We've only done that like one other time thus far, like for the entire trip, and we're gonna do that again.
Yeah, the rental car is nice. I used to be opposed, but it's very nice to have.
I really strongly recommend having the Disney music on the phone.
Yeah, that makes it seem more Disney. I don't know. Hollywood Studios.
Well, I think if we're going to watch, Happily Ever After, stick with the spot we were at which I mentioned, in Tomorrowland, between the Tomorrowland Bridge and Tomorrowland Terrace restaurant.
That was good.
So you don't have to wait. I mean, we got close enough to the full experience where I feel like that spot was definitely worth it and not having to wait on Main Street for over an hour.
Yes.
I don't want to waste that time.
I thought that spot was the full experience.
There was just some projections we couldn't see, and the sound with the Tomorrowland Transit Authority.
Oh, we kept hearing the same spiel whenever
So that would talk over the music a little bit, but it really wasn't bad.
I was able to ignore it.
Yeah. Okay.
That's it.
So, yeah, that's it. So those are our thoughts on the My Disney Experience app, as well as what we are going to do differently, I think, from now on, or at least in the foreseeable future, for our next trips. So I hope you guys enjoyed watching this video, and thanks for watching. Bye.